Hey YouTube, tomorrow's officially the season turnover, so we're going to get a bunch of Pokemon completely new Great League meta. And so a lot of these new Pokemon are going to be, for some of you, the first time that you use them. So what I'm going to do in this video, tomorrow we're going to do a top teams video with these new Pokemon. But to understand why they work on sort of top teams, you need to understand their role and what is their strengths and weaknesses. And what you need to do is look at their stat product for starters, right? The stat product, moveset, typing are the three things I could buy. So what I'm going to do in this video is go over the different type of stat product for Pokemon and what those attack, in particular, the attack stat product means when it comes to the role of the Pokemon and how to build teams with it. So I've got 5. I've got 5 different stat products in the attack column that I look for. So the first one is below 100 attack with a high stamina or defense. So these are, I gave Carbink and Azumarill as examples. So there is your Carbink at number 2, right? We have a very low attack, 84, with an insane defense. Stamina is not actually that big, but the defense is insane at 248. And of course, there's Azumarill, the OG, 93 attack, 134 defense, and then a very, very high 190 stamina. So whenever you see this sort of stat product, very low attack, but with either a very high defense or a very high stamina and a well over 2000 stat product, right off the bat, the stat product for these Pokemon are good, and then it comes down to their typing and a moveset, whether they are useful. These Pokemon play a very specific role, as you're going to see in the traits, extremely bulky and defensive, and that is the same when it comes to like Carbink. Oops, sorry, just close my screen. That's the same when it comes to like Carbink. You're going to get extremely bulky and defensive. So what does that mean? It can absorb multiple attacks and resist attacks from a wide variety of typings. Well, that's the typing there. But I'm care more about the extremely bulky. So with these low attack Pokemon, high defense, high stamina Pokemon, they often act as a third shield for the most part, where you are just kind of taking charge moves on these Pokemon. Whenever you're building teams, you could theoretically build like a triple bulk team, like Carbink, Azumarill, plus like a third very bulky Pokemon, and then you can debate which one you want to shield with. But for the most part, when you're kind of using a bulky Pokemon with a low attack, you're using it for its like ability just to take charge moves. So you're often pairing it with like sort of a more attack heavy Pokemon, and then trying to use this Pokemon as a third shield. And we'll talk about those attack heavy Pokemon in a second. The next attack that I look at is 110. And the examples I have here are Quagsire, Double, and Superior. So Quagsire is a 111 and then has like a higher stamina to get to the 2000. And Superior is the same thing. Superior is a 110. This is actually a more balanced. Still have the 2000 overall stat product, but instead of just one dominating, it's got like a pretty nice balance of defense and stamina, 128, 143. And Double is the same thing. 111 attack, and this one's more balanced as well, 141, 128 for a 2000 overall stat product. So these are the Pokemon that all 3 of these in their traits talk about they say bulky, and a lot of these are spammy. And where their bulk comes into play is, again, the difference between a 90 and very bulky versus 111 and a little less bulky but still bulky, basically comes down to how you're going to use this Pokemon and the threat that you put out against other Pokemon. So a lot of these Pokemon that I just went over, Double, Quagsire, and Superior, are very spammy, and that helps in its attack. The attack at 111 is not something that's overpowering, but unlike those at sort of like the 90, 95 attack where you're just like, yeah, okay, throw those moves. At 110 attack, yes, I can take 1, but as we're starting to get now into like 2 and 3 type moves because these Pokemon are spammy, these moves are starting to add up. And that's the best showcase of that was Quagsire last year, when it only took 4 mud shots to get to an Aqua Tail. And then if you were like I know Gligar takes super effective, but like if you were Shadow Gligar, that's 50% damage there. And even in like non matchups, by the time you throw that third Aqua Tail, you're like, oh crap, I need to start shielding, because the damage does start adding up. So that's the 1 in 10 Pokemon. 120 is your sort of middle ground Pokemon. So these are Sableye and Skeledirge. So Sableye is 121 attack with, again, kind of an evenish defense and stamina here. And Skeledirge, same sort of thing, lower defense, higher stamina, but in the middle here at 1840 as well. So what these Pokemon do are, unlike the 110 attack Pokemon, where, again, Frenzy Plant is an exception on Superior. We're going to ignore Frenzy Plant because it's such a hard-hitting move. But when you're talking about Quagsire or Double with the Body Slam, you're really looking at like maybe 2, but most of the time 3 charge moves. But when it comes to these Pokemon like Sableye and Skeledirge at the 120 attack, you can probably live 1 Foul Play and you can live 1 Shadow Ball, but you're not living 2 moves. So these 120 attack Pokemon definitely provide more shield pressure. And as you can see here, shield pressure, right? What I like about these Pokemon is that they still provide shield pressure without being super, super glassy, right? 123, 124 here, and Skeledirge was kind of the same. Means that you are comfortable also taking sort of charge moves, right? It's not like 1 charge move is going to take you out a lot of time, again, unless it's like super effective. But if it's just like a neutral charge move, you're probably comfortable taking 1. You'll probably get taken out on the second one, but you're probably comfortable taking 1 move. So this is the type of Pokemon that can like go start providing shield pressure, because by the second move that you're throwing, your opponent probably needs to shield or be taken out. And on the other end, same thing. You can probably take 1, but on the second end, you're going to be taken out. So that is how these 120 Pokemon with those sort of stat products play. 130 is your Charizard, Typhlosion, and Machamp. So if you've watched this channel for a while, or maybe even some of their content creators, there's an old saying: Shadow Charizard and Shadow Machamp don't care about your typings. And that is because these Blast Burns from 130 attack, so these are 130 attack base, right? When you add the Shadow bonus, you get a 20% bonus. So now, again, it's not a true, if we're looking at 130, we should maybe do without the bonus, but I'm just going to use the bonus as an example here. 132 attack with a 20% bonus on top of that. They always say like Shadow Charizard and Shadow Machamp don't care about your typings. And it's because these Blast Burns and even Cross Chops, like they really start to add up with these attack Pokemon. Now, those attack are often offset with low defense and stamina, right? 118, 117 here. Machamp, as we're going to see here, and we're going to cover Machamp in a second because it got buffed. 136, but then a low defense, 97, then okay stamina, but not overall. That's not going to help it. So really, and you can see the Glass Cannon showcase here. Hits hard, but struggles to take hits. Depends on shields. So when you start getting into like the mid 130s and above, these are the Pokemon that you need to start shielding. And there's a couple Pokemon next season that fit this realm that we need to start playing with. Like they're gonna need the shields. And then you got your pure Glass Cannons. Zangoose is one that I wrote down. 144 attack. What else did I write down? Greninja, Sirfetch'd, and Lucario. Right? These are the Pokemon that if the wind blows leaves at them, they're gonna faint, basically, right? So 100% need shields. Most of these are very spammy because they need to be. Because if you have a high attack and you're not spammy, you're useless. You need to be able to spam your attacks with the super high attack like this. You get shield pressure, but you are very, very glassy, and you need all the shields for these Pokemon. So those are the different attack stat products that we got for like just Pokemon in general, and what that means for how they're used and what they can take and not take. So Pokemon for next season. Machamp and Pangoro are very similar in stat product. I said Machamp here, 136 attack with the, again, lower defense, lower stamina, and Pangoro is the exact same, basically 134, 92, 134, right? So very, very attack heavy. And they will provide shield pressure, and this Karate Chop is the perfect move for these Pokemon because it charges at the speed of a Mudshot, or the old Mudshot, Poison Sting, Thunder Shock. They're very, very fast, 4.5 energy per turn. So these Pokemon are getting to their charge moves very fast, and that is what you need. When you're a 134 attack Pokemon, this is why they're going to be strong tomorrow. when you're 134 attack Pokemon, you need to be able to spam to get that attack off, right? So both of them have these 4.5 energy moves with either quick moves like Night Slash at 35 energy here, or more just nukes with close combat here at 45 on Pangoro. So it's going to be spammy. It's going to provide shield pressure. What is the dynamic? Performs well with energy and has fluid dynamic matchups, right? But hits hard but struggles to take hits. This one depends on bait, and we're going to ignore the other stuff. But it's basically these are more glass cannons and will rely on shields. So when you are building a Pangoro and Machamp, you are probably going to need to build them with Pokemon in that sort of 110 attack range. You can theoretically, if you want to do like a double glass cannon team, but you need something in that sort of 90 to 100, 110 attack. Your Carbanks or your Zoomerals, your Clodsires, right? Something that just has a lot of stamina, a lot of defense, and can just take charge moves, because you are going to need shields on Pangoro and Machamp. So again, weak to Fairy. Well, again, we'll cover this on the top teams tomorrow, but it's like weak to Fairy, weak to Flying. As that, this Pangoro is half dark, so it picks up the fighting weakness as well, while Machamp picks up the psychic weakness. But again, those are the moves that hit super effective. Even neutral moves are going to hurt these Pokemon. So if I'm building them, I'm probably building them with minimum one bulky Pokemon, maybe even two. You're probably building them with like one of those maybe 100 Pokemon, or you're looking at those minimum one, probably 200 attack 10 Pokemon. That's how I probably build Machamp and Pangoro. Gastrodon. Gastrodon is a mud boy, and also here's Quagsire, 111, right? 111 attack on Quagsire. And Gastrodon, oh look, 114. So a little higher attack. Defense is pretty low, but why it's good is because it has that stamina to offset. So it should play pretty similar to Quagsire. It's going to have the spamminess. It's got the lower-ish attack. 114 is getting towards the up there. So a little attack heavier than Quagsire, but still got that bulk with the higher stamina. Still got the spamminess with the Mud Slap and Body Slams here. On top of the Mud Slap, that's going to do fast move pressure now. So if you played with Quagsire last year, on top of covering your double weakness to grass with a flyer, you can probably build it around the same way with team comps, right? So you can, when you get to the 1-10 attack, I think the 110, in my opinion, the 110 and 120 attack Pokemon are the most flexible with team building, in my opinion. So just to remind you what I said, 110 is Quagsire double superior, 120 attack is Drapion, Sableye, Skeledirge. These Pokemon are all, in their own respect, spammy enough, and most bulky enough that they, even like this 120 attack can take like 2 moves, to have the flexibility to kind of build a team how you want, right? Unlike those glass cannons, which we're going to talk about, which I just talked about with the Machamp Pangoro, that really need a 1 attack, 100 attack bulky Pokemon to help offset, because you need shields for those Pokemon. When you get to the 110, 120 attack Pokemon, there's a lot of flexibility with how you team build here. So I think Gastrodon is very flexible with the team build, outside of you need to cover your grass weakness with that. Marowak is actually the same. So I was looking at Marowak, and I was like, what's the difference between a Marowak and the thing? I'm like, oh yeah, they're both the same. 110.8 here, just to confirm, 110.8. So same stat product. And again, a 145 defense, 145, 126. Just to confirm, 145, 126, right? So you got that, again, almost identical to double and Quagsire build. 111 attack with enough defense that you can take moves and live quite easily, right? So, and why it's going to be strong is because it has the same thing. It's got, it's spammy, like Bone Clubs are going to come fast, Shadow Bone's going to come fast. It's got, in this one, fast move pressure because Fire Spin got buffed. You can get shield pressure with Shadow Bone. And it's got like an okay amount of bulk that you can take charge moves, right? So Marowak fitting in that sort of 110 range, being able to spam moves, provide spamminess, get shield pressure, and still probably take a move without being taken out immediately is really going to make it flexible in this range. So we'll team build with that one tomorrow. Golurk, I just showcased this one yesterday. How it has jumped in the rankings very high, but it is a glass cannon. So 133 attack, 96 defense, 129 stamina. Terrible overall stat product. Again, why is it so highly ranked? Because Mudslap got a double buff. So insane amount of damage. Good energy per... Not good, but... yeah, okay. Good energy per turn. Not amazing, but not bad. And then you have... oh, interesting. Mudslap and Astonish are just mirrors of each other. Both at 5.6 damage per turn. This is a shadow, right? Yeah. So from the non-shadow, let's just do that so you can see the non-shadow. But both at 4.8 damage per turn and both at 3.33. And interesting. So Mudslap and Astonish are clones of each other going into the season. So I guess it does not matter which one you use on Golurk. Interesting. But hard-hitting fast moves now. Decent energy charging with a quick sort of bait move. But yes, it is a very, very, very glassy Pokemon. You can see it in the video yesterday if you want to check that out. So much like Machamp in those 135 attacks, you need shields. Hits hard but struggles to take hits, depends on shields. And that's any of these 135 Pokemon, that's what's going to be. You're going to need shields to keep them alive. So build accordingly with Golurk. One, probably two bulky Pokemon. If I'm building Golurk, again, personally, I'm building with at least one Pokemon in like the 100, 105 attack range, and then maybe one in like the 110, 120. I think you get by with that. I personally don't like the double. You could, I've seen it before, and I think it's a little trickier to play, but you can do double nukes. So you can do Pokemon 2 in the 130. So you get like a Greninja and Golurk on the same team. I think that could be it's much trickier because you need to figure out how to play it, which one to shield and which one to just sacrifice and grab shields with. So for me personally, when I'm using like these 135 attack Pokemon, 130 plus attack Pokemon, I'm most likely building them with two, at least one super bulky Pokemon and probably two generally bulky Pokemon. And then I'm using the shields on these Pokemon, and then the other ones can just kind of act as third shields. And Dusk Noir is, I was looking at this thing and I was like, I know Dusk Noir is kind of bulky because it has that 172 defense. Really crappy stamina though, like really bad stamina. So 120 attack. So it's gonna be sort of like that. It's gonna be, again, I've only used it like once, maybe twice. It's gonna be interesting to test out what this 119, 120 attack does. Because again, that goes with Drapion, Sableye, Skeldurge. Those are the ones in the 120. Drapion also got buffed, so it's a 120 attack. So these are the Pokemon that they generally have a defense or stamina that can put them in this 1800 range, which generally means, again, when you look at Skeldurge and you look at Drapion, I haven't covered Drapion yet, but Drapion's the same in the 118 attack with a more balanced tier, 136, 117, but same overall 1900. It means that your moves are going to add up quicker, right? Probably not, one won't take out, especially on Drapion. One Crunch is not going to take out. Drapion's kind of a weird one because Aqua Tail and Crunch are pretty low hitting ones, but Dusk Noir with Shadow Ball, one probably won't take out. It'll hurt, but it won't take out. But then two, you're definitely going to be taking them out. But at the same time, you're probably in the same situation where you'll probably live one move yourself, but you'll probably be taken out with the second move. So again, I build similar to that if you build like a Skeldurge and Sableye. When I say build similar, I don't mean like just replace Dusk Noir. Don't just replace Skeldurge or Sableye with Dusk Noir because that team comp may not work. But just think about like when you're building team comps with like the different bulk like style of Pokemon, those are sort of like similar in that sense. I'm sure there's other Pokemon, like there's other Pokemon that got Astonish buffs here, right? So I gotta add the Astonish. There's other Pokemon that got Astonish buffs. Like Drifblim, he's probably at like 120-ish. Yeah, very similar, not surprising. These ghosts all follow sort of similar. Cofagrigus maybe a little more defensive. Yeah, a little more defensive, a little less attack there on Cofagrigus. I mean, that didn't get buffed, but yeah. So those are the different stat products, and those are how you're gonna their roles and how you play with them. So tomorrow, I mean, this afternoon we'll go over the event for the new season starting over, which is all the starter Pokemon and the dragon and the eggs. So I kind of look at all the new Pokemon, and then Tuesday we'll do top teams. So we will build around some of these Pokemon, but again, I will build basically how I just explained it here. I will, if they're more attack heavy Pokemon like Golurk and stuff, they're going to be built with bulkier Pokemon. If they're in that 110, 120 range, there's going to be a lot of flexibility. You can kind of take it multiple ways. If they're very defensive heavy Pokemon, you probably want to put them more with like a higher attacker, right? So like if you're running an Azumarill or Carbink, I probably want, not that you need to build like a Machamp, but I probably want something more attack heavy to offset that sort of low attack there. And that is how I use stat products to understand, not just I was going to say attack, but understand the stat product to understand the role of the Pokemon and how to team build. And we'll go over that tomorrow. So hope this was helpful. It was either this or a sort of season wrap up. I guess I can just take let's just do both. Let's just do a 2-minute season wrap up here. So I hit legend for the 17th time in 18 seasons, something like that. I have officially got, so one of the things that actually really, really helped me out was being able to showcase your videos so I can run with the team. Like that Ultra League team that got me from 2,500 to 2,800, I used 4 or 5 days straight, which in the past I would only use for like 2 sets and move on because I need to showcase the video. So I really appreciate you guys submitting videos. I have officially gone through every one of those videos and just deleted the rest because they are not useful next season because it's a completely different meta and different move sets and counts. Like everything's changed. So I'm officially dry on your battles. If you want to submit battles, I'll just go over 2 minutes here how you do it because people always ask, how do you do it? So I use a app called AZ Screen Recorder to screen record my battles. Some people's phones can just screen record their screen. I would like when you submit, I say 10 battles because 10 battles for me is about sped up at 1.5 is 20 minutes. Now, you don't need to speed up the battles for me. You don't need to splice them or anything. You can submit either just one long set or individual battles. Basically upload them to, I always say Google Drive. It doesn't need to be Google Drive, but it's something that you can like share that I can download from. Like don't send me the YouTube links. I can't download from YouTube. So Dropbox seemed to be okay, but Google Drive is the easiest. Upload your battles there and send me the link. All this, there's a link in the description. I asked for your name, like your username, the Pokemon IVs, moveset, and then there's the link to give me. So send me that link. Make sure I have access to it because there's a lot of times where you guys send the link and I don't have access, then I can't use them because I can't even get them. And then there's a section if you want to explain anything, explain how the team works, why you put it together, if you just want to say hi, just whatever you want in the box down there. Again, I like 10 battles and I like a mix of wins and losses. When people send me like 9-1 records, it's like, okay, fine. But like if you're sending to me, are you sending it to me because you want to just me to showcase it, or do you want me to actually like analyze and help you out there? So it depends on like what you want there. And again, you don't need to edit it. You don't need to do anything. I can do that on my end. You don't need to make my life easier. There are people that, for example, will like when they send the link, let's say they do it individually, we'll say like game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4. Like that's easy for me to just like click in. Or they'll say like a win 1 or loss 1, win 2 sort of thing. So I just know like, oh, this one you win, this one you lost. So if I can edit accordingly. Again, you don't need to do that. I can do all that on my end. It just makes it a little easier. So yeah, link in the description. The first week will likely be me just showcasing a bunch of these new Pokemon beyond the hype style that I just want to test out and learn how strong they are and give you guys honest opinions on them. And then I'll probably showcase yours more later in the season. In terms of, I'm excited for the new season. I definitely played more this season than I did previous seasons. I didn't get as bored this season. That being said, once I hit Legend, I have not played in 3 weeks. Since I hit Legend, I got my Pika Libre, non-shiny again, and I have not played since. So maybe I was bored of the season, but we will definitely get back into it next season here. I'm excited about that. In terms of the channel and the videos, I think there's been a couple good, maybe some bad, and I don't think I'll adjust moving forward, but this is my thought process here. What have I liked? I've liked showcasing your battles because again, I've had the ability to, people say they learn a lot from them. It's a different perspective than it's when it's my battles. And it allows me to play with my teams longer. So please submit some battles, link in the description. That is very helpful to me. The second thing I've been doing is doing event coverage. I think that has been very beneficial because one, it breaks up, I put out 2 videos a day. So instead of putting out 14 teams in this league, at least one for sure is just going to be like event coverage, either a community post or as you're going to see this afternoon, covering the first event. And there's an event weekly. So I think that's helpful for me. One, because it gives me additional videos. And two, if you need to catch Pokemon for Go Battle League, these events are when you do them, right? So I kind of showcase like, okay, you need to focus on these Pokemon. So I think that is helpful. I'm still putting out a lot of videos, and the state of GBL. So I'm coming off my worst growth year as a percentage wise, maybe ever, but I'm coming off one of my highest growth months in maybe like 2 years, because August was very, very good for subscriber growth. And I think that's just the excitement of GBL with a completely new meta shakeup. So I think we'll keep going with this. If there's anything else you guys want me to do for videos, if you guys got like new topics or something, because right now, again, basically the schedule is going to be like Tuesday is going to be top teams. Usually Wednesday we'll showcase our first teams. Again, this one, the first week will be Beyond the Hype, but in general, just be like teams showcasing probably 2 a day of the current leagues that are on. Focus on Great League because views don't lie. My Ultra League and Match League videos get half the views of Great League because people are not playing them. People are just focusing on Great League. So it's mostly going to be Great League focused. And then with a video in there for like an event coverage and then like top teams, stuff like that. So if there's anything else, and then like there's one-off videos that I make of just like this, like understanding IVs, like I'll do these one-off videos. If there's any other videos that you want me to include, be it a regular occurrence, like I want a weekly video on this, or just like I want a one-off video on this, let me know in this just like link comments below, because again, I'm always looking for new ideas, ways to improve the channel. So any suggestions are appreciated. But that is it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.